Qatari citizens had visa-free or visa-free on arrival to 111 countries and territories, ranking this passport the 48th best passport in the world. Now, I'm going to go over some things on naturalization on this particular passport and some other advantages and disadvantages of getting this passport. Now, let's look at naturalization. Foreigners may be granted citizenship if they fulfill the following conditions, and they are lawful residents in the state of Qatar no less than 25 consecutive years before applying for citizenship, availability of legitimate means to earn one's living and meet one's needs, good conduct and behavior in addition to absence of previous conviction by final ruling in the crime of dishonor or mistrust, whether inside or outside of Qatar. Now, you can actually get citizenship there a little bit quicker if you, in fact, it actually gets quite a bit quicker if you are married to if you're a wife of a naturalized person and you're looking at marrying someone that is a national of Qatar. And if you grant a nationality by virtue of a husband, provided that the stay with him in Qatar extends a period of at least 5 years from the date of the time that you actually, that he got Qatar citizenship, the wife will not lose her citizenship in the event that the marriage contract is broken. Now, let's look at dual citizenship. This is one of the biggest problems of this passport and also the other ones that are in the Gulf region, and that is that Qatar doesn't recognize dual citizenship. Holding another citizenship that's not allowed may lead to the revoking of Qatari citizenship. Let's look at how you can actually lose the actual Qatari citizenship. You can lose it if you join the military service of a foreign country, you work as for a foreign government that is in war with Qatar, and you take up foreign nationality. And citizens are allowed to voluntarily give up their Qatari citizenship. Also, folks, if you can do us a big favor, we don't monetize our channel. It would do us a real big favor. If you like our videos, give us a thumbs up. And also don't forget to hit the subscribe button right on your screen here, and you get new videos automatically as they come out. And I would like to hear from you. If you got a question or comment, put it below. And also go to our website, www.citizenshipquickly.com, if you want to legally get your income taxes to zero, or how to get a second passport as quick as 4 months to a year. Now, under the state of Qatar tax regime, the standard corporate income tax rate is 10%. The thing is this country used to have no income taxes not too long ago. 10% rate's pretty low, but still the fact is there are places you can go and not have any income taxes at all. That's the thing also that I don't like. But and this is on your worldwide income too on that company. Now, under the state of Qatar tax regime, again, the standard corporate tax rate is 10%. Different tax rates agreed with the Qatari government, but no less than 35% apply to income derived from petroleum operations or petrochemical, anything from the petrochemical industry. Now, under the QFC tax regime, income is taxed as a flat rate, as I mentioned, of 10%. Dividends are not subject to tax under the state of Qatar or the QFC tax regime. To retire in Qatar as a foreigner, the most viable path is through investment, specifically in real estate. The Golden Visa program offers residency options based on property investment, and our company can help you with that. If you want to set up a company in Qatar or move to Qatar, you want to invest there, we can help you in getting that done. Now, alternately, permanent residency can be pursued after 20 years of continuous residency with specific requirements like language proficiency and financial stability are looked at. Now, let's look at retiring in Qatar by way of an investment. Now, they've got a golden visa. It's a property investment for the residency. You invest a minimum of Qatar $730,000, which is approximately $200,000 US in residential real estate with approved zones to obtain a renewable residency permit. Another option would be investing Qatar $3,650,000. That's in Qatar currency, or if you do it in US dollars, you're looking at around 1 million US, can lead to permanent residency eligibility, including for your immediate family. Now, permanent residency beyond investment. Now, this is if you don't have the investment, but you want to just go there and not invest. Expats born abroad must live in Qatar for 20 years to be eligible for the permanent residency if you're going to go that route. And additionally, they need a reasonable command of Arabic, proof of financial self-sufficiency, and a clean legal record. Other considerations, they don't have a retirement visa per se. Qatar does not have a specific retirement visa program, but so residency is tied to other avenues like investment or fulfilling the requirements for permanent residency after 20 years, going there and working for a company. Now, let's look at the work permit and sponsorship. If you're not retiring by way of an investment, you generally need to be employed by a Qatari company or government entity to obtain a work residence permit. As far as the cost of living, Qatar's cost of living can be pretty high, particularly for rent. However, some companies offer housing benefits. As far as cultural adjustment, you're going to have to be prepared for cultural differences and the potential for bureaucracy. Familiarize yourself with local customs and laws. And their legal system is like the UAE, similar to it, and that's a lot different than the U.S., quite a bit so. And you might have to change your will too if you end up getting assets there, because their legal system is totally different than what you would see in the U.S. and most other places. Now, as far as healthcare goes, Qatar has a good healthcare system, but it's advisable to have international health insurance, especially for those not employed by a Qatari company. Now, I'm going to give you my evaluation of the program, and it is as follows. Now, the things that you're going to have to look at when you're getting a passport is it a citizenship by investment or residency by investment program? Now, this one is a residency by investment program. So, you're taking a big risk because you're going to have to be there for several decades before you can apply for the passport. And there's no guarantee you're going to get that passport. And then you're going to have to, of course, give up all your other passports because they don't allow dual citizenship. Is the healthcare good? Yeah, it is pretty good there. That's one thing that's nice. The time period to get citizenship, you're looking at several decades, and you're going to have to learn the Arabic language. Tax laws, is it a territorial tax system, pure tax haven status, or is it a non-dom type system? Because this is what you should be looking at if you're going to a place. I would tell anybody going, if you want to reduce your taxes, pick places where you can get your income taxes to zero. It's low tax, but you're not going to get it to zero there. Okay, that's one thing. Now, if you retire there, that's a different story. But if you got a local company or you're working for a company there, you're going to pay some taxes there. Now, number of visa-free or visa-free on arrival countries and territories, this is what you want to be looking for. Now, you're not going to get anywhere close to what you're going to get in a St. Kitts or Antigua passport here. You're looking at roughly 111 countries, visa-free or visa-free on arrival that you can go to. You can go to almost 40 more countries, or approximately 40 more countries more with the St. Kitts passport. St. Kitts also, you get the passport quicker. They allow dual citizenship, English-speaking country. Most people there in Qatar will speak English, professional people. But again, you're going to have to give all your other passports. You're not going to get your taxes to zero. If you go to a place like Antigua or St. Kitts, especially St. Kitts, you can set up what's called an unincorporated business, or just set up an offshore corporation. You don't even have to pay any income tax at all in St. Kitts if it's an offshore corporation that's not a St. Kitts corporation. Now, you're looking at the GDP per capita. Qatar is one of the highest in the world. It was rated number 9 for 2025. Now, another thing, again, like I mentioned, you want to pick a country that allows dual citizenship, folks. You don't want to be going to a country where you got citizenship in one country, you got a problem, and you take off and leave or something. You got an issue. The country becomes it is a dictatorship now. But let's say it gets worse, and you got to get the hell out of there for some reason, and you don't have another passport. You got a problem. So this is something you got to think about. And they don't allow dual citizenship. Does the country allow only citizens of their country to get involved with certain businesses? That's one thing I will have to say about this. They have high visa fees. They're very high, a lot higher than what you'd pay in Antigua or St. Kitts to get a license. You're talking about thousands of dollars there. But, one thing is you don't have to be a citizen in almost every business that they've got there. Okay, that's one thing that's nice, but you do pay real high visa fees for that, and you will pay some tax. Now, remember, a good fast-track citizenship program has the following traits, and I would always tell you to be looking at this when you're getting a passport, and that is get a citizenship program that you can get as long as you don't have any sort of civil or criminal past. A lot of these residency by investment countries don't go by the statutory period, and after the 20 years, you're not going to, more than likely, it's going to be very difficult to get the passport. That's why I always tell people, if you're trying to get a second passport, this is not the way to go. If you're just going to get residency, then that's a different story. Make sure that the country you're applying for has no military requirements to get the passport. You see what's happening in Russia and Ukraine, all these people that are dying. Don't put yourself in that situation with your kids or your grandkids. Make sure you go to a country that's just never in wars. Fast track program in the Caribbean, you make your pick. All of those countries, they just don't have draft systems. You'll never see a draft with any of those fast track programs in the Caribbean. And that's what you want to make sure on there. You don't want to be in that situation where you've got to go to war or your kids or your grandkids. Also make sure the tax system that's in place for the country either has a territorial tax system, pure tax saving status, or non-dom type system. This one does have an income tax, and it's not much, but it does have an income tax. But make sure if there's a language requirement that you're already fluent in that language. And that's the thing. I'll be honest with you. I lived in Panama for almost 5 years. I didn't like it because it's just so much time wasted trying to communicate with people. It's I would tell you to try to, if you don't want to learn language, don't go to a country where you can't speak the language. That's just crazy. And always verify that dual citizenship is allowed, or don't go to that. Don't get citizenship in that program. If you're going to get I'll be honest with you. If you're going to go and you're going to get a residency by investment, I would much rather go to an English-speaking country that allows dual citizenship, that you can get your taxes to zero. There's a lot more visa-free countries than QATAR, such as Ireland or Barbados. These are great countries to go to. Barbados even has visa-free travel to Canada. But you want to get one that's got a really good passport that you can get a lot of visa-free countries and the other advantages I just mentioned. And remember that a lot of these countries reserve the most lucrative business opportunities like insurance, real estate, retail for citizens. So if you're wanting to get in one of those businesses and you're not a citizen and it's going to take you years to get citizenship, man, I wouldn't go that route. And Panama's got a real problem with that. They bar you out of everything unless you're a citizen. There's so many businesses you can't get in: real estate, insurance, retail business. They just restrict you in so many different areas unless you're a citizen. And also, when you move to a new country where you don't know the language, just remember it's going to take you a lot longer, 4 times longer to learn everything, to get things done, because you're always trying to translate verbally, written, or whatever, and it's just calling the phone company, trying to get something straight on a bill and trying to find somebody that speaks English. Anyway, folks, if you're making at least $150,000 US a year, and or you got a net worth at least $1 million US, and you want to legally get your income taxes to zero, or how to get a second passport as quick as 4 to 12 months, do 3 things. Hit the subscribe button on the right of your screen right here, and you get new videos automatically as they come out. And folks, don't forget, it helps us out tremendously on our algorithm of our channel. Give us a thumbs up if you like our videos. And if you want to know more on this, go to our website, www.citizenshipquickly.com, and just ask for some help. And I would like to hear from you. If you got a question or comment, put it below, and I'll look forward to talking to you on the next video. Take care.